Welcome to my shop. Today we're going to go over the 5 top items that I recommend for somebody who's a beginner welder or just wants to get themselves into welding. Our first item is going to be a welding machine. Now this is a multi-process machine. It's the Arccaptain MIG 200. I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail about it on this video because I have a full review in another video that you can go check out. But the reason I chose this is a multi-processing machine. It allows me to do a bunch of different processes as I learn and refine my skills, just my general welding skills. The limitations on this machine, they're okay for what I need to be doing here in my shop. Now, I wanted something that was gonna be budget friendly so I could continue to afford materials, so I could continue to practice welding, get better at it, and then I can upgrade in the future as needed. So the next item I'm gonna talk about is actually a group of items, but you have to have them to start welding. So the first thing that you're gonna wanna get is a welding hood. Now, this thing's cheap. It's auto darkening. I would recommend that as a beginner. I like the auto darkening. I've done fixed shade before. It's just hard to know where you're at, especially when you're just starting. I do wish I would have spent more money and got a little bit of a better hood because this one's just so flimsy. It's not comfortable on your head for a long time. So if you have a day where you're doing a lot of welding, this is just not that comfortable, but it will get the job done. A few hoods that I wish that I would have bought. I'll put one here, I'll put another one here, and then I'll put another one here. These are all the ones that I wish that I would have purchased and spent the extra money or done a little more research on this. And there's a bunch of different reasons why. Next, you're gonna need yourself a pair of welding gloves. Now, welding is super hot. You're gonna burn your hands. You can grind with these. They'll protect your hands from a lot. These, again, are also just the budget stuff from Harbor Freight. It will get you going. It will get you welding, and that's what we're here to do. You can go buy more premium gloves, and they are going to be more comfortable. I've tried some on, and there is a big difference, but for your budget, these will work. Here's an option, and here's also another option of 2 other gloves that I would recommend if you're gonna be doing MIG and stick. If you're gonna be doing TIG, you're gonna want gloves like this one down below. Reason being, it's just a lot easier. I actually have never TIG welded before, so when I TIG weld, I'll let you know what gloves I get and the reason why. Next, you gotta protect your eyes. You're a welder, that's what you're looking at. You're gonna be looking at an arc all day, right? That's why you wear the hood to protect your eyes from going blind. Now protect your eyes from getting anything in them. If you damage your eyes, you're not gonna be able to weld, you're not gonna be able to do anything. You should be wearing these in the shop at all times. I'm really big on thinking that my safety squints are gonna be enough. They're not enough. It's not gonna stop things from going in your eye. You're gonna get something in your eye. So just wear these. You can get these in Harbor Freight. I'll put the picture right here. You can get these in packs, really at any store. And I look at these as being a completely expendable item, something that I can just replace, and I replace pretty often. The last recommendation that I'm gonna say on for welding is going to be just get yourself a pair of good leather work gloves. You're gonna be moving steel around. It's sharp, it's dirty. You can see these things are beat up. And I've only been using them for maybe a month and a half or so. So go find yourself a good pair of gloves. And these actually are not the last item. There's one more item that I have not upgraded my filters on, but a respirator. Guys, protect your lungs. This one doesn't fit under my mask because these are the wrong filters actually, so I need to order the right filters. If you have any recommendations on good masks or good respirators that a beginner could wear, put them down in the comment below, and then I'll put them in the description, or send a link to your video that you have on respirators that you're talking about. But this is my next safety upgrade because the fumes, especially from FluxCore, they're just nasty. So this right here is the number 2 item. This is all of your safety equipment that you're gonna need to get started. Okay, another item that you're gonna want as a safety gear is you obviously don't wanna be welding in short sleeves. Now there's multiple reasons for not welding in short sleeves. When you weld in short sleeves, one, you can get burnt with any of the sparks, any of that's coming off, but also welding produces an immense amount of UV rays. So you are going to get sunburnt even if you're inside a shop all day long. So I went with this option, but there are so many other options out there. So find the option that's good for you, something that you like. If you want to look good in it, maybe the Hobart option isn't the best option for you, but I just need something cheap to get me through until I could go and upgrade all of my gear to get me to be something where I really wanted to be. Okay, so the next thing that you're gonna wanna get is you're gonna need to get cleaning stuff. Now, when I mean cleaning stuff, I don't mean your Lysol wipes, I don't mean any of this stuff. I'm talking about you're gonna wanna get yourself a chipping hammer. So this is kind of an older chipping hammer that I have received from a family member. It's pretty heavy duty. You can get these cheap at Harbor Freight. You can make one on your own. You can use bandsaw blades. Like for example, I've got a bandsaw blade that snapped, it broke up, and I use these. This will get the slag out of the toes and the edges of your welds really well. So you can use this to get slag off, and it's actually a really great tool, and it's something you might have in your shop already. Another thing you want to do is you're going to need to get yourself a steel wire brush. You're going to be brushing all of those beads, right? You want to see how pretty they are. You want to get that slag off of them. Now, when I'm talking about the slag, I'm talking about if you're getting yourself into flux core or if you're getting yourself into stick welding. Those are the two that you have to make sure that you're cleaning often. If you have to clean MIG or TIG, let me know, because I actually don't. Those are the two processes that I'm going to be moving on to here in like the next month or so, as soon as I get bottles. Now, this is the bare minimum that you'll want to have when you start welding. You don't need to have this, so let's just throw that out. This is the bare minimum that you're going to need. Now, if you have something, you can get like a grinder. Have a grinder with a wire wheel. This is going to make this and this essentially go away, right? You're just not going to need them because you can just hit that real quick and then you're good to go. It's going to take everything off. It's going to clean it. But that's where these iPro come in really big. Also, you can get a grinding disc if you need to grind some of those ugly welds flat. Guys, I have so many ugly welds on this bench. It just looks like somebody stuck a bunch of boogers on here. This was my first project to learn, so I've ground a lot of stuff down. I'll be going over them, doing what I'm calling a Hollywood pass on them to make them look pretty. So I would count these things as optional and these things as necessary to get started when it comes to the cleaning of your welds. Okay, so the next item is a big one that you should just have in your shop, especially if you start welding. Now I recommend you just go to Costco, Harbor Freight, anywhere. Guys, go get yourself a fire extinguisher. You're probably gonna start some kind of a small fire in your shop. You need to have one of these around, accessible at all times. You can find these pretty cheap. They're not too expensive, and if it is out of your budget, well, I recommend that you make room in your budget. And maybe that's why you should buy some of the budget Harbor Freight things so you can afford to have one of these things. Because the last thing you want to do is burn your house down because you were too cheap to buy a fire extinguisher for inside of your shop. So guys, fire extinguisher, just get one. This is probably the biggest thing you need to have in your shop as a welder when it comes to safety. Okay, that brings us to the last thing that we're gonna wanna have as we wanna start being a welder, and that's going to be measuring tools. So that's just a simple tape. You probably have that. An angle gauge, so you can figure out any angles that you need. I have this one. I also just have like a regular wood square like this to find anything that I want for squaring. Wouldn't say it's absolutely necessary. You don't need it. It's gonna make your work a lot cleaner and easier, but you do not have to have it. So optional, this is even optional. Guys, go get yourself a tape measure. They're cheap, they're not much. And then when it comes to marking measurements on steel, you can use Sharpie, you can use pencil. I use soapstone. That's what this subscribe here is written with. I also have notes over here on the side of my table about every single one of these items. I'll come down to a table, and when I start talking about, oh, hey, this is what I want to do, measurements, I can just write anything on this and then wipe it right off. So soapstone is really good. They have these at Harbor Freight. You can buy them on Amazon. You can get them. So a big thing is to make sure that you're sharpening them so you get a nice crisp, clean line, because this one is not. All right, so you remember from earlier when I told you about that bonus item that I was gonna tell you about that's gonna make you a better welder a lot faster? Well, here they are. Coupons, welding coupons. Now, I got these from Amazon. I got them for, don't remember, but I'll just put the price right here, as well as a link in the description of what I got. These are 1/8 or 3 mil plates, so you can do like some T-joints and practice fillet welds. You can practice lap joints, you can do butt joints, you can do everything with these. I recommend getting these, and when you have 15 minutes and you want to come weld a little bit, grab 2 of these coupons and just go to town. Start practicing, start tacking things together, do whatever you want. This is cheap and it comes pre-cut. So for me, it was worth, instead of me having to cut everything with a big old sheet of steel that I purchased, it made sense for me to buy these because of just how cheap they were. So with these as the bonus item, you're gonna really like this next video where I show you some of the practice drills that I've been using to get better on this Arccaptain welder.